Alright guys, what is up? This is Shatner's Prodigy with the second game of my match versus the guy who's playing Fableds, Dark Magician Girl with that appropriate picture. So I like to go first because I sided in a bunch of anti-Fabled cards, and there's no reason to, side in all those anti-Fabled cards if you don't have the chance to set them. I sided in a bunch of Floodgates, I sided in, I think, Goes in Match, like Vanity's Emptiness, all that. I don't see any of that, but I do see Wing Blast and Shell in my opening hand, which means I'll be able to use it for essentially free, since Shell will just replace itself. So he summons out Kashana, which is a tech I don't ever really recommend running, but whatever. And then he pitches his Grimro to get Chawa. So he sets one, and then just goes into the battle phase, and attacks me for 1100. Now, I activate Reload just to get some draws going on. I draw into Scattershot, which isn't the best, but, whatevs. So I pay 500 for Shell's effect, and I get one more to my hand. And this will net me, I think, 3 or 4 draws this turn, which is pretty good. It'll give me a lot more options, and it'll just make my plays all that more live. And I draw into a second Max C, which isn't too useful, but I do have that Magic Planter face down, so I will be able to get 2 more draws off of that. And I draw into Firehand and Rocket. I normal summon Rocket, and he activates Solemn Warning, which is an extremely odd tech in a Fabled build, but whatever. I guess if you're competing at the high levels he is, you kinda gotta run some optimal techs. And so I use Max C to deter him from Synchro Summoning. But what he does is he just brings out Ancient Sacred Wyvern, which, if you don't know what that does, is it gains 100 attack for each the difference in your life points if your life points are higher than mine, and it loses 100 attack if you have lower life points than your opponent. Yeah, that's it. I could have phrased that better. But now I drew into the Royal Firestorm, and I have exactly 4 Pyros, so I guess I'm going to do that. And so I stack my 4 Pyros back on top of my deck, and I shuffle it up and draw. Now I don't quite know what I'm still doing with Foolish Burial in here. That was really a construct of back whenever I ran... back whenever I ran... Sorry, I'm bricking. Back whenever I ran Blaster. But since the Dragon Rollers got banned, that's really not been an issue anymore. So I really shouldn't be running it, but here I am. So I can nuke his field at any point. I think I'm going to now because, there's really no reason not to. And, I just don't see why not. Inflict 1500 damage and just get rid of his field. It's a pretty sweet deal. Now Tengu will trigger in the graveyard. It is not optional. And so I will get that draw. And he doesn't read this card. It says from hand/deck. So he thinks that okay, so let me clarify this here. I'm sorry if I'm not making much sense, but so he thought Scattershot can only send from hand to deck. From deck to graveyard. He didn't know you could send it from your hand, and I think I cheat myself out of draw here, out of several draws with Max C. Because I forget about Max C and all that kerfuffle. I should have drawn 3 technically, but whatever. So he brings out Reagan, I draw 1 more, and I'm getting tons and tons of advantage here. But if I can't make a tangible play, it's not gonna matter. So my face down is something, I don't even know what it is at this point. And I think I'm down to, I'm down to 1900 life points, which means I'm too low for a soul charge. And I'm too low to make any meaningful soul charge plays. So I activate Foolish Burial to send, I think Shell is the only reasonable target I can send. But I don't know what, I send Rocket for whatever reason, and I normal summon Firehand just to get that Reagan off board, because that Reagan could kill me in a single blow, and basically everything else in his deck can't. So I go full ham, set 3 back row, and I activate Mind Drain immediately. Just kidding, haha, too dumb for that. Doesn't set any back row, so Ice Hand is pretty much dead. Sets one front row and passes, so I'm looking at my graveyard, weighing my options. I normal summon Rocket, which gets immediately Veilered, and I hit Emptiness off of that, which of course I'm going to take because Emptiness is love, Emptiness is life. And that'll stop a lot of his plays from happening, as well as just stopping any general tomfoolery he could have. So he activates Dealing, to which I draw and discard the Mind Drain that's kind of dead in my hand, so I can't pay for 2. He activates Cerberel's effect. I'm going to let that go through. For what reason, I don't know. I should have used Vanities, but I figure I'll just use Vanities the second he summons anything that he can use to Synchro with. And he passes back. So I Mind Drain Honest, because, I mean, I Mind Crush Honest, but even if I didn't have the Mind Crush, I still had Mind Drain. So I could take care of it that way. This is basically GG at this point. I'm setting up for another field nuke, and I have the guards to draw me 2 cards. And yeah, this was a duel fraught with misplays, but it was a win nonetheless. I still have the Emptiness, I still have the Mind Drain, and I still have the Mistakes. So up, and I'm stupid, I activate Vanities as soon as his turn starts, instead of waiting for him to do something that requires a special summon. And he has the Regeki. So I Regeki him back and normal summon the Rocket for game. Stay tuned for game 3.
There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more.